If you asked Daniel what shaped his life, he would tell you about thousands of choices: choosing a college major at 18, working late on a Tuesday, checking emails at midnight, arguing in meetings about things that wouldn't matter a year later. He would describe a life filled with action, filled with effort, filled with intention. But most lives are not shaped by thousands of decisions. Not really. Usually it's about 10, maybe fewer. And the strange thing is, you almost never recognize them in the moment. So we rewind. Daniel is 17, 2 acceptance letters in front of him. He flips a coin, heads, one university, tails, the other. At the time, it felt completely insignificant, a choice made in seconds. But this one decision quietly rearranges everything that follows. Instead, in his second year, he sits next to someone in a lecture hall who will become his future business partner. He stumbles into an industry that is just beginning to rise. He moves to a city that is growing faster than anyone expected. Environment begins shaping him. We like to believe we build our lives from the inside out, but often we simply step into systems that are already in motion, and those systems carry us further than any single choice ever could. A few years later, Daniel and his friend from that lecture hall start a company. They are young, they are ambitious, and they fail. Customers don't understand what they're being offered. It falls apart quietly. 5 years pass. They try again, the same core idea. But now technology has caught up. Customers who didn't exist before are now searching for exactly what Daniel and his partner are building. Investors appear, same founders, same vision, radically different outcome. History reveals something deeply uncomfortable. Timing more than talent often decides who wins and who is forgotten. And then years pass. Nothing dramatic happens, just repetition. Day after day, Daniel shows up. He learns, he builds relationships, he earns a reputation, one small interaction at a time. For a full decade, nothing about Daniel's life looks extraordinary from the outside. Then, seemingly overnight, things change. The company grows fast, media attention arrives, recognition from people who had never heard his name before. To outsiders, it looks sudden, invisible compounding, the slow, patient accumulation of advantage finally becoming visible. Now Daniel finds himself inside bigger rooms, boardrooms with long tables and leather chairs, conference stages with bright lights, political meetings where futures are shaped behind closed doors. The conversations in these rooms sound impressive. People talk about innovation, but if you watch closely, something else is happening beneath the surface. Someone interrupts another mid-sentence. Alliances form silently over coffee. Power moves, invisible to most, obvious to those who know where to look. Ideas are discussed. Humans are still playing a much older game. Status. Who is respected? Who is feared? Who gets to speak and who has to listen? Now the story zooms out. Daniel isn't alone, and he never was. Around him we see dozens of people, engineers who built what he imagined, mentors who warned him before he made mistakes. History loves to celebrate individuals, but when you look closer, breakthroughs almost always come from clusters. Florence in the 1400s gave us the Renaissance. Cambridge in the 1920s produced a revolution in physics. Silicon Valley didn't create technology. It created a density of ambition, talent, and capital that made innovation inevitable. Genius rarely works alone. It works in clusters. Daniel is older now. When people tell their life story, they remember thousands of moments. But step back far enough and the pattern becomes clear. The university choice made with a coin flip, meeting the co-founder in a lecture hall, moving to a city he had never visited before, trying the idea again after it had already failed once, hiring the right person at the right moment, and perhaps most importantly, staying during the hard years when quitting would have been easier and no one would have blamed him. A life is often shaped by a handful of decisions. The strange part, you never know which ones they are while you're living them. You only see it later, when the pattern has already been drawn.